I am in Donaldson, Arkansas, and I am parked under the bridge that goes over the river, Ouachita River. It's called the Highway 67 access to Ouachita River. And there's a boat ramp right over there. And you see I'm under the bridge because it's raining. It's been raining for 2 days.
Headed downtown to Bathhouse Row, gonna look for some people that I know. Where you gonna play? Well, I don't know. I'll be there soon, cause I'm gonna go.
So in this video, I'm just gonna tell you about why I'm leaving Hot Springs. And I haven't been sitting here for 2 days because that would, not be legal. So what I do is I've been leaving for several hours and then coming back because when it's raining, there's virtually nothing going on here, and I'm pretty much alone and nobody's bugging me. I don't really like to be here if it's not raining. People tend to leave dead fish after they've been fishing at the side of the boat ramp. I don't know why people do that, so it usually stinks. People throw trash because there's no garbage cans here. They'd probably throw trash even if there was, but there's no garbage cans here. So it's just it's not even really much like, I don't even know you'd call it a park. There's a little bit of a parking lot, there's space under this bridge where people park, and there's a boat ramp. And people come here and fish off the bank also. And I have seen people camped here before. And I'm in Arkadelphia for school. When I'm in Arkadelphia for school at Henderson, this is where I come when it rains. Why am I here and not in Hot Springs since school doesn't start until August 20th? Well, I am no longer comfortable in Hot Springs. I've just been trying to think about this for a while and process it. So, ever since I started school at Henderson, when I would go home to Hot Springs on the weekends, I would be really happy to go home, And I would post on Facebook, and I would call people that I know, and I would text people and say, hey, I'm going to be in Hot Springs this weekend, and let's get together, let's have lunch, let's do this, let's do that. Crickets. All I get is crickets. And it's been 18 months since I moved into the camper. And except for a couple of people that I have met who were passing through town, who were super nice, I've had like nobody to be friends with, no one to hang out with, no one to get lunch with, no one to just shoot the breeze with, no one. And twice this past month, when I go to Starbucks. I've told you this. I go to Starbucks and I upload my videos. Everybody does that, right? Last summer, I spent almost the entire summer in Starbucks working because I had two online classes to do. And it was much closer to go to Starbucks than to drive all the way out to the college and use the library, which had limited hours, and Starbucks was open from sunup to 10 p.m., so that's where I did all my schoolwork. Unless I had to go to school to print something, which you don't need to print anything for an online class for pretty much, so that's where I was at. And I got to know the people that work in Starbucks. They all know me. Well, since I've been back from Lake Marisac, I've been going to Starbucks probably 3 days a week, working on my ebook and working on my videos. Well, twice this month, the same thing has happened, where the first time, and it's funny how both times I happened to be in the camper when the cop came and banged on the door, which is weird. The first time I was parked and I had gone out to the camper to check on Belly and make sure, you know, I like to leave the windows open for him. Recently I started parking with my my house door facing the street where it was less eye-catching, and I would just block the door open because he's on a chain. He can't get out anyway. I mean, he can walk out a few feet, but anyway, just to make sure he had enough air. And I had a fan blowing on him and, you know, the whole 9 yards. But I still would get up and go out to the camper and check on him about every 45 minutes or so. Make sure that he was still not showing any signs of, you know, being too hot, and that he had plenty of water, and that he wasn't tangled with his chain and whatnot. Well, anyway, so I'm in the camper checking on Belly and grabbing a snack, refilling my water, and the cop comes, bangs on the side of my camper. I hate the way they do that. So annoying. Why do they always bang on the side of your camper like that? So I came out and I said, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" He's like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, well, I was checking on my cat, about to go back inside. And he's like, "This isn't an RV park." Well, I'm aware of that, sir. I'm a customer at Starbucks. Well, you can't be here. Well, who said I can't be here? Well, the manager called and said that you can't be parked here and you gotta go. You should go park at Walmart. That doesn't make sense, sir. Sorry. I don't understand what you're saying to me. Well, they called and said that you're not welcome here. I said, I don't believe that that's true because I'm here all the time and they know me. Well, you have to go. Well, he was just mean and rude and kept talking over me and interrupting me, and so I didn't have any choice that day. I had to leave. It was embarrassing and it upset me. I was pretty sure that nobody at Starbucks had called the police on me. But it made me feel like I was a target, like I was out in the open, like I was exposed. It was upsetting. It was the middle of the day, you know, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, for God's sake. So for a few days, I didn't go to Starbucks. I went to the library, or I worked a few days and I did some different things, went out of town. Last week, I was back at Starbucks again, parked, and I had the door open for Belly, and I just happened to have walked outside and was checking on him when I get bam, bam, bam on the side of my camper. And I walked out and I'm like, "Hi, what's up? What's going on?" And he says, "Well, what's going on here? You're not supposed to be here." And I was like, "Well, I am supposed to be here because I'm a customer here at Starbucks." And he's like, "Well, nope, Starbucks manager called and said they want you to leave." And I said, "I don't see how that's correct because I'm here all the time. If they wanted me to leave, they would have just said to me to leave." And he's like, "No, well, I can hear." And he like clicked something on his thing, and I could kind of sort of make out somebody saying something about manager. I don't know what he was. He was supposedly playing the call for me. I don't know. Anyway, I couldn't hear it. And he says, "The manager of Starbucks called and they want you to go, and it's private property, so you have to go." I'm like, "All right, well, fine, but it's going to take me a few minutes. I got to go inside and pack up my stuff." And he's like, "Go inside where?" I'm like, "The Starbucks." Where my things are, because that's where I'm a customer. And he's like, "Well, you want me to come in with you?" I was like, "I don't know. Do you feel like you need to come in with me? I'm not afraid of them." And he's looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, "Sure, come in with me. Fine." I said, "But I don't believe you. I don't believe that anybody from Starbucks called you." So we walked inside, and I walked over to my table and start packing up my computer and my books and stuff where I'm working. He looked at that a little funny, like he didn't believe that I actually had stuff in there. And then he walked over to the counter the girl at the counter is like, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Yes, you called because you wanted this woman to leave the premises." And she was like, "Nobody called you." Went over it with her a couple of times, and he was like, "Well, the manager called." And she was like, "No, I didn't call you." Or that somebody called and said their name was Jill, the manager of Starbucks. Well, the manager of Starbucks' name is not Jill. Anyway, apparently someone is targeting me when they see my camper at Starbucks. They think it's funny to call and say they're the manager of Starbucks and that I have to go. And that, coupled with the fact that I apparently have no friends in Hot Springs, and the fact that something really upsetting happened the night that my daughter Maxine played at Collective, but I'm not really ready to share that. I haven't decided how I want to deal with that yet. But there was a personal attack on me. A very public and personal attack on me. It makes me really sad because I loved Hot Springs. I wanted it to be my home. I'm a person who comes from, my mom was a single mother. I have no siblings. She joined the Air Force when I was 4 years old, and we traveled. She wasn't very close with her family, and I was never able, as hard as I tried, I was never able to forge any relationships within my family. So to me, I'm a person who has, other than my children, I don't have family anywhere. I don't have roots anywhere. Because of that, I grew up moving as a kid, so the closest thing that you could say to being my hometown would probably have been Jacksonville, but that's where my abusive first husband and his family lived. So I'm not interested in being anywhere near that. So I wanted to make Hot Springs my home, and ever since we moved there, I have been an advocate for Hot Springs. I've volunteered for everything under the sun in Hot Springs, community projects, art projects, city projects, you name it. Anybody needed anything done, they called me and I was there. I promoted people, I promoted businesses. I would walk around downtown and talk to tourists. I just loved the town, and I knew all the history, and I wanted people to love the town and enjoy the town. I'm hurt. I'm just hurt. And I don't want to be there anymore. I don't know why you're doing that. Because it's like it's everybody. So I don't know how to deal with it. Other than to just go, If I'm not wanted, then I go. So, I'm done with that. I have about a year left of school here at Henderson. When I get done, there's that graduate program in St. Louis that I want to go to, and I guess I'll just be done with Arkansas finally. I can't think of a reason to come back. I guess it's just why I left Hot Springs. I'll have to come back sometimes. I'll have to figure out how to move my things, but for the most part, I'm not going to consider myself a resident of Hot Springs anymore.
I say, yeah, I put a 20 in my tip jar. I know where I'm headed now. When I'm done, I'll take take a big old bow, ow, ow. Find a penny, pick it up. All the day you'll have good luck. Pennies won't get me where I need to go. Say, hey, little girl, you'll go far. I say, yeah, put a 20 in my tip jar. Buskin down Bathhouse Row, buskin down Bathhouse Row, buskin is where I'm gonna go. Down Bathhouse Row, buskin down Bathhouse Row, buskin down Bathhouse Row, buskin where I'm gonna go. Down by the